Hey everybody, and welcome back, and welcome to 2025. It's a new year and a blank slate. If one of your goals for this year is to improve your financial picture, then one of the things that you could consider doing is what's called a no-spend January. This is when you make a commitment to yourself to stop spending money on non-essential items. That is, you cut out all the excessive spending and you don't make any frivolous purchases. And you cut it out for the entire month. A no-spend January will boost your savings. It will break the habit of mindless spending. It will help you pay down debt, reduce stress, simplify your life, and help you develop a gratitude for the things that you do have, the things that are more simple and meaningful in life than any petroleum-based product that you can buy from Walmart made out of plastic. Now, I did this for the first time myself back in 2020 during the pandemic. You may remember the COVID and the lockdowns. Since we had my area, we were in the area where I live, we were on lockdown for 2 months, for about 8 weeks. And since we had to shelter in place, we couldn't get out very much. And so I used this as an opportunity to reduce my spending and to reset my spending. For 2 months or 8 weeks, the only thing that I was spending my money on was essentially utilities and groceries at the grocery store. And you know what? I didn't feel deprived in the least. I found other ways to entertain myself, to keep myself mentally engaged, fun things to do that didn't cost me a whole lot of money. Plus, I ended up saving a whole lot of money. And I was astonished at how easy it was for me to reset my spending habits. Now, you can do that yourself for the year 2025 by committing yourself to a no-spend January. And if you're interested in doing a no-spend January, here's 5 tips to help you get started. But first, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by. This channel is dedicated to helping people live a resilient life, and my message here is very simple. The best investment that you can make is in yourself. So again, here's 5 tips to help you get started on a no-spend January. Number 1, embrace the hibernation aspect of the month of January. What do I mean? For the last few months, our calendars have been very full and we've spent a whole lot of money. Think back. You go back to October of last year, there was Halloween, then we had Thanksgiving, and then there was the holidays, the holiday parties, there was Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Christmas presents, Christmas expenses, Christmas spending, and then we had New Year's Eve, New Year's Day events, so forth and so on. That is a very exhausting time of the year, plus it usually involves a lot of spending, right? Well, now the holiday season is over, and we're in the month of January, and this is a month of hibernation. Think about it. It's cold outside, the nights are long, and the days are short. Plus, we have a tendency to develop colds and things like that, as you can probably detect in my voice. And yes, I should have done this video on January the 1st, and I realize that it is January the 4th right now, but I got sick and I've just had to hold off on doing this. But the point being, January is a month of hibernation. It's cold, the nights are long, and the days are very short. And this is a great reason and excuse, if you want to use that word, to just stay home and curl up with a good book and a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate in front of the fireplace and focus upon resting and sleeping. After all, the nights are long. Why not take advantage of that? And you can take the whole month to just be lazy if you want to. There's nothing wrong with it. Give yourself permission to do it. And even if you're not prone to do something like that, you could take the month of January to focus your full attention on other things that need to be done, tasks like redoing your budget or doing a deep cleaning in your house or whatever. The point being, January is the perfect time of the year to do a no-spend month because we are burned out from the holidays. We have spent our money up to our eyeballs and we're just wanting to stay home most of the time. So embrace the hibernation aspect of January. Go full monk mode and focus on buying very little and staying home because January is the easiest month of the year to trim back our excess spending, and it helps set the tone for the remaining months in the year. Number 2, do a subscription reset. I'm talking about cable TV here, streaming services, Netflix, Prime, Paramount, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Disney, HBO, Amazon, cell phone plans, and so forth. These subscriptions really add up fast. We can be spending hundreds of dollars a month, which translates into thousands of dollars a year. The amount of money that we spend upon our subscription services is money that could be going into your IRA or into an emergency fund. Now, if you're wealthy and you're rich, this doesn't apply to you. You're recession-proof anyway. But if you're a middle-class, working-class person and money is tight for you, then this is an area that deserves our attention. Take a close look at your bill each month, especially if you still get paper bills. And you will notice that there are fees and taxes and all sorts of additional fees attached to the original service fee that you're paying for, and it all just adds up. I mean, I'm like, where is all this coming from? These kind of frivolous expenses can easily add up to about $5,000 or $6,000 a year, and so this is food for thought. Furthermore, these services encourage extreme overconsumption on our part. It would be easy to just lay around and watch binge watch a Netflix series for 30 hours a week. That's overconsumption. And these fees and expenses, they just keep adding up and stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. So what's the solution here? Do we have to completely eliminate all of these things, or is there a way that we can use them more responsibly? I think there is. First of all, just take a hard look at all of your services and cancel the ones that you don't use, or cancel the ones that you no longer want to use. Number 2, you can go down a tier in your service plan. In other words, you could scale it all the way back to the basic package if you wanted to. And then number 3, if you're on Amazon, go back and look at your purchase history over the last 12 months. I would imagine you're going to be shocked and astonished at how much you've spent on Amazon. Evaluate your purchase history and determine how many of those purchases were intentional and things that you really needed versus how many of those things were impulsive and unnecessary. And just be honest with yourself. You can only benefit from doing this. Number 3, focus on eating at home more often than eating out. Now, this is a lifestyle habit for me. My wife and I do this all year long. We cook at home most of the time. We love cooking. I have my own set of chef's knives. She has her own set of chef's knives. We take turns cooking. Sometimes we cook together. We get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And our motto here is make your home kitchen the best restaurant in town. And we believe that we do that for ourselves. We can make food here at home, cooking it ourselves, as good as or better than anything that we can get eating out. And it costs us pennies on the dollar. Plus, it's healthier, safer, and more enjoyable. When we cook enough to last us for a few days at a time, and that helps us with meal prep. And then anytime that we get out, maybe we go to the beach or we're going hiking, or maybe we're going into town for some doctor's appointments, we'll always pack a lunch and take with us so that we can eat this on the go. And not only does this save us money, but it helps us from making poor food choices on the go. You know what I mean? You know, you skip breakfast, you go into town, about lunchtime, you feel your stomach starting to growl, and what do? You just whip into the first fast food joint. You spend a bunch of money for greasy, inflammatory food that doesn't taste that good anyway. Eating out like that for convenience can really add up. If you spend $15 a day, that adds up to $500 a month, and that translates into $6,000 a year. Again, that's money that you could put into your IRA, or $6,000 could go into your emergency fund. I know people who complain all the time about the high prices of groceries, and grocery prices are high, but then they go out to eat every single day for lunch. How do you make that make sense? It makes no sense at all. And then, of course, there's food delivery services that we're paying for people to bring groceries to our house, and then the tip you have to provide. All of these things kind of add up. So if you're interested in doing a no spend January, this is another area that we should consider, we should target and identify. Number 4, don't feel pressured to solve all of your life's problems in a single month. Now, doing a no spend January is not going to solve all of your financial issues, hardly. But it does give us a win. When we pull it off successfully for 1 month, it does give us a win. We boost our savings, we break the habit of mindless spending, we reduce stress, and we learn how to entertain ourselves without having to spend an excess amount of money to do it. In other words, we reset our spending habits. And this helps us as we move forward into the rest of the year. It helps set the tone for our spending habits for the remaining months of the year. The whole point of this challenge is that we become more mindful of our spending habits, and we end up saving a little bit of money along in the process. And then finally, number 5, if you do decide to do a no spend January, don't be too extreme in your efforts. Now, every year people create New Year's resolutions or a list of goals that they would like to achieve. Things like, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to join a gym, I'm going to get my beach body, I'm going to save X amount of money in 6 weeks, so forth and so on. And for many of those goals and New Year resolutions, within a month or two, they quit, and then people go back to their old habits again. And part of the reason that they quit their goals is because they went too extreme in their goals, and they saddled themselves with unrealistic expectations that not only were unattainable, but the effort to get there is unsustainable. For instance, I'm not going to spend $1 for the entire month of January. I'm not going to spend a penny in January. That's just too extreme. Or I'm going to the gym 6 days out of the week. Or I'm going to lose 50 pounds of body weight in 3 weeks. We just need to be realistic about these kind of things. Instead of not eating out ever, you could limit it to 1 time a week. Instead of canceling all of your subscriptions, you could just scale it back to the basic package, or at least take it down 1 or 2 tiers. And instead of going to the grocery store and buying only beans and rice and broccoli, you could allow yourselves a few indulgences from time to time, which helps make life a little more enjoyable. If you avoid going to extremes, you're more likely to succeed. So remember, it's your money and it's your life. Only you can do for you. It's up to you to provide for yourself, to take care of yourself, and to get ahead. So take the bull by the horns and set yourself up for success. That's what a resilient life is all about. Now, of course, there's a lot of other things that could have made this list, and I didn't have time to cover them all. But this is my short list. But going over the list for my no spend January, perhaps it will help prompt you in your own efforts and in your own thinking to identify areas in your life that are unique to you that you might can improve to help cut back the excess spending for the month of January and help set the tone for the remainder of the year. Well, that's all for now. Again, I want to thank you for stopping by. Leave me a comment down below, hit that thumbs up button, and feel free to subscribe. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we're going to see you next time.